Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions, Part 2. Let's go ahead and get into our continue menu here, because the game starts off right away into a battle here, so that's why we're loading from this screen as opposed to being in the actual game. Let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are. This is the unit selection screen, so this is where we choose our party for the battle. You can see at the top there, it shows you the status of the unit that you're about to place. You can use the L and R buttons to sort through them. If a person is already placed, you can use the triangle button to jump to them up at the top there. You can use the square button, as I did when I meant the triangle, to check the status of the character at the top, not the character that you're over. So for instance, over Ramza, but Maith is there, so I hit square, and it shows Maith. His status. We can also see some battles will allow you to place more than one squad for it, so we have basically two sets of units say to place. So we can see this is the first squad. This is only one squad battle. The majority of them are as such. It lets you know how many positions you have total to place, so in this case we can place 5 units with 4 remaining. However, Ramza must be one of our 5, so try to remove him. You cannot remove Ramza from the squad for this battle, and it's that way for every story battle. So let's go ahead and take a look at our units really quick. Let's see who we're going to want to use. We're going to want to use a chemist. Go with you. Little John. Also, the names are randomly generated, so let's see. Who else to use? Might just go by lowest experience here. Throw you in there. You, and we'll go with you. Okay. Yeah, that seems good. Alright, so then when you're ready, you just hit start for done, and tell it you want to commence the battle. So this is the battle at Garliand. What have we here, we moppets, is it? Our lucks went and turned for the better. Alright, lads, cut through these ones, and we're good as fled. Wait, good at... oh, I guess they're... well, are they fleeing from Garliand, or fleeing into Garliand? I guess that's the question. We'll make quick work of them, and don't be leaving no squealers behind neither. So our objective here displays before the battle starts: defeat all enemies. So Delita, as you can see, he is in this battle, but he was not in the unit placement screen. Guest characters, as I said before, will be in your story battles. Not all the time, granted, but fighting units will be. But you won't be able to place them, or choose where they start. And sometimes Ramza, you'll place him somewhere in your unit selection screen, but he'll be somewhere else because the story dictates that he be there. So we have ourselves a battle against a bunch of squires and chemists. Careful, Ramza. Remember, the well-aimed thrust pierces the mail. Don't patronize me, Delita. We Beowulfs know our way around a battlefield. Way to tell him, Ramza. Beowulf, was it? Heir to the noble house Beowulf, I'd wager. Looks like we have ourselves some apprentices from the academy. Well, highborn Moppets is still Moppets. Lay down your arms or die clutching them. None will pass your warning. None will mourn your passing. That was very interesting. How I read that there. And you mean to make us do that then? You're in far over your little heads. Okay, so we actually have our turn here in our first real battle. So just to go over a few mechanics really quick here. We go into the status screen here. We can hit select, and then we can look at things, and so for instance, this 01 out of 11 indicates the unit's turn order. So the right number shows how many units are on the field, and the left number shows selected unit's position in the turn list. Obviously, there's the unit's level, which increases by 1 for every 100 experience points earned. And we have their experience points, which is a numerical representation of the unit's experience in battle. A unit's level increases by 1 for every 100 experience points earned. We have here their hit points, which is a measure of the unit's life. When a unit's HP is reduced to 0, he or she is KO'd. We have their magic points here. These points are used to cast magics. If a unit's MP is reduced to 0, it will not be able to use any more magics. We also have the charge time, or CT gauge, which indicates the amount of time a unit must wait between turns. The unit cannot take a turn until its CT reaches 100. So this is how the turn order is determined. You have a stat called speed here, which is a combination of the unit's inherent speed and any job, equipment, or ability bonuses. The higher number means the unit's turn will come more quickly, and that's because this game works on a tick-based system. So for every tick that happens, their speed gets added to their CT gauge, and once it hits 100, that unit is able to act. If multiple units hit the CT gauge first, or get 100 at the same time, basically, usually the way the game determines it is guessed. I believe it's by the way that the units were actually spawned into the world, which tends to be guests, enemies, and then your units, so you're almost always going to lose speed ties. Really quick, just to finish off the stats of the units here, we have their move range, which is a combination of the unit's base movement range and any job, equipment, or ability bonuses. The higher the number, the farther they can move. Also their jump, which lets you know govern how many tiles the unit can jump horizontally, as well as how far up or down a slope the unit can jump. You can also see their weapon, attack, and block rates. The left number is the equivalent of its attack power, and the right number indicates its chance of evasion. The top and bottom numbers represent the right and left hands respectively. We also have their attack and magic attack, which is the sum of the unit's attributes and any job, or ability, equipment bonuses. The top numbers for physical attacks, the bottom numbers for magical attacks, and then we have the same thing here, except these are your evasiveness. So you have your class evasion, which is determined by which class you are. You have a shield evasion, so if you have a shield equipped, that's the percent chance to evade that is given to you by your shield. And then accessory evade, which there are accessories you can equip that give you a chance to evade. Now, class evade only works if you're attacked from the front. Shield evade works if you're attacked from the front or from the side. And accessory evade works from all angles. So that's why it can be important in a battle to attack a unit from the side or the back if possible. So if we take a look at one of these units here, for instance, they have no shield, and they have no accessory giving them any type of dodge. Therefore, we could attack from the side, and we would get a 100% chance to hit them. We don't have to necessarily try and get behind them. As I mentioned briefly in the tutorial fight, you have two things that you can do, and you can do them in any order. You can move, and you can act. You can also do neither. If you do both, your CT gauge will set down to 0 at the end of your turn. If you do one, but not the other, your CT gauge will set to 20 at the end of your turn. And if you do neither, and you just simply wait, your CT gauge will set to 40. So if there's nothing your unit can really do to help in the situation, sometimes it can be beneficial to just move them into a better position, or just to take an action and not move, or just to simply wait. If they're already in a good spot, just there's nothing to do yet, like say a healer or something of the sort. I may have hit the microphone there, I apologize. It's a lot of information to get through. And I technically already recorded this once and then had technical difficulties with the program that I used, so I'm recording it again, which I'm not trying to rush through it or anything, but it's a lot of info to go over again. So, let's go ahead and continue here. I'm going to go ahead and move Ramza up here to take her on. Oh! Whoa! So yeah, what happened right there is I got a critical hit. In addition to doing the critical hit, sometimes they have a chance to knock an opponent back a space. They don't always do that. There is a chance for them to do that. In this instance I did. She fell off of her roof, so she took some fall damage. Well, let's see now. Where to go? So he has the, well, first of all, really quick, let me back out. So under the act menu, you can do your attack, like I said before, which is your basic melee attack. Percival is a squire, so he has the Fundaments ability, which is the squire job command. They're the most fundamental of all battle techniques, and the ability that he knows is Rush. You attack by ramming into the enemy's body. It has a range of 1 and vertical tolerance of 1. And what's really nice about it is that it has a 100% hit rate. So even attacking from the front, it'll ignore all evade that the enemy or the target unit has. Let's move you over here, and then we'll simply wait. So you know, only Rush, okay. Now, Little John is a chemist, so he has the Items ability, which is the Chemist Job command. It enables the use of items to assist allies in need. So you have right now all we have access to are potions, which restore 30 hit points, and Phoenix Downs, which remove KO status. And really, I don't think anybody is hurt, so we're just going to move you closer to the fight and have you wait. Whoop. It's not the direction I wanted it to face, but okay. Okay, the enemy's moving around a little bit, jockeying for position, throwing a potion. Unfortunately, I was not anticipating that Squire getting knocked down off the roof, so Ramza is going to be out of the picture for maybe a turn, depending on where the enemy all moves. So really quick too, when you choose to attack or use an ability and select an enemy, you can see a little bit of a preview down below at the bottom. So in this instance, we're attacking with the equipped weapon. We could see that it's predicted to do 12 points of damage, and it has 100% hit rate. If it were a status effect, it would show the status effect that it would be applying and the percent chance of it landing. One problem with the mechanics of this game is that this little preview window, if an attack can apply more than one status effect, it'll only show one of the ones which it can apply. So let's go ahead and attack. No one really needs healed, so let's go ahead and attack. Oh, and we missed. Ow. So Ramza, let's show here, has he's a squire, but instead of having fundaments, he has metal. He's a special version of the squire class. It still gives it the same description though, but we can see he has an ability the others don't, which is chant. Sacrifice hit points to restore twice as much to an ally. So you restore some hit points and you take half the damage once you restore. And I'm going to need to heal my chemist now. Or, well, Delita also has the metal job command, so that's Wish. So you can see he healed my chemist for 20 hit points and took 10 of that as damage. Pardon me. Seem to have a little bit of a cough going right now. And that squire is now healed. And I'm going to need to use the potion still on the chemist when it's his turn. Because I don't want the chemist to die. What's nice is when you knock an enemy down, when you KO them, you do get double the experience for that move. So that's always nice. It only works the first time though, so you can't say knock an enemy down, revive them with Phoenix down, knock them down again, and keep farming double experience off of them. So I'm going to move Ramza here in order to cut off the chemist from the squire that I have isolated. Although I think he could still use a potion at that angle, fortunately. I was kind of hoping he would attack my other squire. Alright, Delita, do something useful. There we go. Put on the hurt. So I'm playing through this game. I'm going to try and minimize grinding on screen as much as possible. Sometimes when I play through, I like to try and let Delita do as much as possible in these fights to let him level up some so he can actually be useful a little later. But I'm just going to try and... I mean, the fight drags on a little bit. On some missions, you have to defeat a particular unit. So what I'll do in those fights, I'm not going to just beeline for that unit. That is a strategy you can do. I'm going to try and take out all of the other units that are helping them out first. But I'm not going to say purposefully start beating on my own people. Maybe a turn or two, but I'm not going to try and set up a situation, really, where I could do that almost indefinitely. Ah, crap. Oh, and he knows stone, which is pretty much that. You throw a stone. It's got a range of 4. I forget exactly what the vertical tolerance is. The one thing with projectile attacks and also items... and Ramza's down. Ramza got KO'd. Didn't realize he would do 20 points of damage to him. But one of the things with item throwing and, as you saw the chemists, they're doing also ranged attacks such as stone, you need a clear line of sight to the enemy. Now, some ranged attacks are able to, say, be arced, so that you don't, like, there could be a unit standing in between you and the target, and it'll still land. But yeah, that's important to keep in mind. Gotta be careful, because he could kill... He won't kill the chemist with a normal attack. One of the nice things is that if they do the same, unless he's got a good Zodiac matchup, I'll take the risk. But since we do have some fallen units, I did almost forget that I was going to talk about this. So the first battle that we fought in the previous episode, all the units that fell had stars above them. In this battle, they do not. They have little counters above them. If you notice when the unit first fell, Ron's still at it. Oh, well, his is at it too now, but it starts at 3. And what that is when a unit falls, its CT gauge stays where it was and continues to increment like it was before. But every time it hits 100, instead of the unit getting its turn, that counter decreases by 1. And this goes on until the after the CT gauge is 100, the counter decrements by 1, and then the CT gauge sets down to 0, the process starts again. Now when the counter is 0, and the CT gauge reaches 100, the unit will disappear permanently, and they can become either a treasure chest, which if they're a human character, they will contain one of the pieces of equipment that they had equipped, or they can become a crystal, which you can then move and pick up. And when you pick up a crystal, you can either restore all of your hit points, magic points, or there will be a randomly selected subset of that unit's abilities that you can inherit and learn free without using any job points. You can only do that for classes that character has unlocked. So for instance, if, say somehow the Squire class was not unlocked, and you pick up a Squire's crystal, and there were some Squire abilities chosen for it, those aren't going to be inheritable by you. If it's a monster, and it drops a treasure chest, it'll be a random item that a chemist can use. Or it'll, if they turn into a crystal, all you can do is load up on the hit points and magic points. You can't learn any abilities. No, you would miss. And so yeah, if you notice there, the Delita was predicted to do 8 points of damage, but his stone only did 4 points of damage. And that's because the damage formula for the stone attack is randomized. So it gave an estimate of what it would do, even though that wasn't the full amount that it actually did in the end. Probably shouldn't have moved you there. Shoot. Yeah, because now I can't. Somebody's in the way of that Phoenix down. I guess I'll just throw a potion at you, even though you don't really need 30 points of healing. It'll still be good. And I might have hit the microphone there. I apologize if I did. Well, the chemist didn't heal last time. I wonder if they are out of potions. Ah, why would you guess? Nope, not out of potions. Huh. So the enemy dropped a treasure chest. Let's see, was it because somebody was in the way, or is it just the angle? Nope, someone was in the way. Let's go ahead and get Ramza up here. Now let's grab this treasure. We obtain clothing! Which is like the most basic defensive thing you can get. Let's pull Ramza back for a second so I can heal him. Oh, there's a crystal. Yeah, let's try and knock this chemist down. There we go, no more healing. Technically there is that treasure chest there on the ground that I could go after, but really these enemies have the most basic equipment. It could be a few extra gil for selling, but... Oh, thanks, Delita. I was gonna use a potion on him, but hey, that works too. Maybe I can wish hit points back to you. We could just start wishing each other. Actually, just curious, how much? Or chance, rather, not wish. I think I've been calling it wish. I think wish was the PS1 ability name. Chance is the ability name for PSP. I only give you 18 points instead of 20. Let's actually grab that crystal with See, so we can acquire abilities or restore hit points. So these are the abilities that we will acquire, and we'll acquire all of them. But it lets you poke around and see what they actually do. Which, that actually might be useful, so let's acquire those abilities. Let's just throw a potion for the experience job points, and let's try and finish this battle. It's dragging on a little longer than I expected it to. Not necessarily a bad thing, but... Can't see over there. Okay, I can get by them. There we go. Honest work would see them die old in bed, yet they chose this instead this early grave. Why persist in such folly? And the battle is won. We have a nice little fanfare here. You get some bonus skill after every battle, which is determined by the type of enemy that you fought and their level. And battle trophies are only received for story battles and are set all the time, so you will always get this after completing this fight. And with that, we are on the world map. And as it says, to move to a location on the map, place the cursor over its corresponding marker and press X. When at a city or castle, selecting its symbol, pressing X will open a menu displaying various establishments at that location. If you're unsure what a particular menu option is for, press Select to view more information about it. Pressing triangle while on the world map opens the main menu from which you can access your party roster or save the game. The game's various tutorials can also be accessed from the main menu. These tutorials provide in-depth explanations of various aspects of the game. Consult them if you have any questions about how to play the game. Alright, and as we can see, we have our first destination here, Igra's Castle, where we've been told to go on guard duty. But that will be in the next episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.